first game. Number 6 Clemson versus number 2 Arizona. Let me get a nice little drink. In case you don't know, Celtics fan, bleed green till I die. Sorry. Clemson versus Arizona. So let me say Clemson into the tournament. They played some good ball. They faced off New Mexico in the first round. Ian Sheffield pretty much was just putting work down low. He had a good game on the block, 16 point, 12 rebound, double-double. And another offensive power and offensive threat, Chase Hunter, pretty much shot the ball well in that first game against New Mexico. Hunter was pretty much a go-to whenever they needed a bucket. It was fun watching that game. They played with a lot of energy. I will say the one thing I thought about that game that kind of not really gave me worries, but I saw that at some point they did struggle to guard down low, guard that block at some point throughout the game. So I was kind of looking forward to seeing how they dealt with that in their next game versus Baylor. So obviously Baylor is a better team than New Mexico, so way better defense, a lot more pressure, and it showed it a little bit. Hunter still had a good game, passed the ball well, shot the ball well, had great efficiency, but just watching the game, you can kind of see that the rest of the team had to put a lot more of an effort to kind of get theirs. Not only did Baylor really make them work for it, but pretty much Baylor's starting backcourt, Ray J. Dennis and Jacoby Walter combined for 47 points. So they were definitely giving that Clemson zone issue. So like I said, their ability to guard the block was kind of shown in the first game, not being able to, and then they really let loose or allowed Baylor to let loose with their guard play during the second game. So definitely good showings the first 2 games. Obviously, they won both of them. Like I said, Chase Hunter shot the ball well both games. He's definitely a good spark for them, and I look forward to definitely seeing what he got to offer in the next game versus Arizona in the Sweet 16. So coming in Arizona, they came in against Long Beach State, pretty much coasted the first game. All 5 of their starters scored in double digits. Kylan Boswell led the way. It was kind of a close game in the first half, but a lot of that had to do with poor shooting. But the Wildcats were able to kind of close it out strong and really put it on in the second half, winning the game by 20. Defense pretty much held them down. Like I said, they struggled a little bit to kind of stop certain things, but at the end of the day, when the game was over, they won by 20 and pretty much forced Long Beach to shoot 33% overall and 17% from 3. So it was kind of close the first game. They continuously had a lead, but at some point it just seemed like Long Beach just couldn't find nothing or nowhere to go to, basically. And the one thing I did say concern-wise for this game, because obviously they got good things and they got bad things, their bench play. Very good starting 5 all scored double digits, so you might not need the bench to score, but pretty much only one person on their bench scored, Jaden Bradley, and someone else is definitely going to have to step up if they're going to continue to go further in this tournament. In their game versus Dayton, I will say the game was a little bit closer, but we kind of saw some of the same things. Offensive play was well. Offensive ball movement was good. Caleb Love, again, had another good game. He had a good game the first game. He was playing pretty good, shot the ball well from deep. Jaden Bradley scored double digits off the bench, so only person to score in the first game came off scoring double digits in the second game. So definitely a good play from the star players, the players you expect. But one thing I kind of was noticing, well, some teams you think, all right, all 5 starters scored double digits, that could be a good thing, but that also makes you wonder, what's your identity? And when it comes to play like this, you definitely have to wonder what's your identity. And while I do think the variety for them is good, I wonder how that's going to affect them in the later games of the tournament. So that's kind of the rundown of how both Clemson and Arizona did in the tournament so far. And now let's talk about how they match up against each other. I'm parched. All right. Now we get Clemson versus Arizona. So to me, I feel like downfall, or not really downfall, but issues, is kind of the same for them. Their identity. Both of these teams have a lot of options, but they really seem to struggle at having a go-to play, a go-to person, someone that can go to in the clutch. The reason why I mentioned that is because like that's really kind of crucial when it comes down to not only late play in the game, but late play when it comes to the tournament. And also, you think about the same thing for the NBA when it comes to the playoffs. If you don't have a go-to, something that you can lean on, something that you can run that is very effective, then it's almost like you struggle to find what to do in those later moments of the game. And my question for these teams are who their go-to. PJ Hall, Clemson's leading scorer throughout the year, kind of been a little bit quiet throughout the tournament, not really taking a step forward. And Caleb Love, obviously, has been balling out for Arizona, but I feel like we got to see a little more from him as well. So I really want to see what they both have to offer, but I really think the edge or the key to this game is going to have to be rebounding. They both can score. They both can defend. You got two very good teams right here. But pretty much, your man, what was it, Omar Ballo. Yeah. Omar Ballo, walking double-double. Shefflin and PJ Hall are going to have their hands full with him all night. Both of them also like to shoot a little bit. Shefflin shoots more from the three. PJ's middies and not really necessarily threes. But they both like to play a little bit on the outside a little bit. So I definitely think their game plan should obviously be keep the ball in Ballo's hand. But how easy is that going to be when offensively no one's really there to crash the boards? Obviously, teams are playing zone, so it's going to be hard for that. But defensively, he's going to be a problem too. So I definitely think that the team that's more effective from the perimeter is actually going to be the team that wins. Excuse me. Obviously, like I mentioned, we already know who Arizona's bringing to the table. Caleb Love, we already know what he brings. He's having a great season, he's having a good tournament so far. Not just tournament, he played good in the conference play as well. So I definitely think they got their go-to smooth criminal Caleb Love. So I feel like as long as he gets going on all three levels, find different ways to score, the rest of the team will play good. Obviously, for Clemson, Chase Hunter, Jack Clark, they're going to have to try to find ways to slow him down and also get their own shot going. So, as I mentioned, lack of identity is the name of the game for this specific game. And I do believe Clemson have too much lack of identity and too much to handle on the other end. They basically will have to shoot efficiently, defend effectively, and rebound like they never did before. And I feel like if they don't do all three, like even if they do 2 out of those 3, it's not going to be good enough for them to win the game. So I do not think that they have the ability to beat Arizona. So in the first game of the Sweet 16, I got the Arizona Wildcats advancing and moving on to the Elite Eight.